This world, everyone becomes the last thing they touch. Some people touch lamb skewers, turned into a mouse. Some people touched Nike sneakers, became an assassin. Moreover, touched a piece of software. It has directly become an existence that no one can kill. And me in my previous life, I touched a sword, gained the ability to return to the sect with 10,000 swords. But helplessly, or pinched to death like ants by top people. Now there are 6 hours left before the alienation. I decided to touch a woman again. For this reason, I looked at the school flower, Zhou Qingling. Only because of the global alienation in the previous life. She saved me more than once. It also made me feel emotional. But in the end, they still couldn't get together. So in this life, let me give you a chance. So I took out my phone. A text message was sent to the squad leader. The squad leader is about to have a big mutation all over the world. Trust my word, keep your phone on in the early hours of tonight. It'll get back to you. And the squad leader, after seeing this message, just thought I was stupid. I had expected that, but I believe, before the global mutation at night, the squad leader will definitely contact him. Soon night fell. I came to the window, looking at the moonlight of the city, began to wait quietly for the arrival of the anomaly. With the time on the phone becomes 12 o'clock. Instantly, the whole earth began to shake violently. The next second, a mysterious voice sounded. It rings in the ears of everyone around the globe. Global alienation is coming. From this moment on, the last thing you touched with your hands will be strengthened and transformed into a part of the body. The duration is 24 hours. When a new day comes, alienation ends. Let's start this great feast. Global alienation has indeed arrived. It's serendipity. It's also a disaster. I am going to survive. Squad leader, you must have heard this voice too. You'll remember the words I wrote to you today. I am not in a hurry at all. Everything was in my plan. Meanwhile, as soon as I learned that this information was released, animal weapons, even the studios of museums, have become the target of everyone's scramble. And on my side, also received the squad leader at the same time. A message from Zhou Qingling. Li Qingshan, what do you mean by the words you left during the day today? You already knew it was going to happen tonight. Looked at the message sent by Zhou Qingling. There was a twinkle in my eye. See you tomorrow at 11:30 p.m. It'll tell you the optimal solution for touch. But only for your messages. Remember to delete. See you tomorrow. Well, Zhou Qingling replied simply. At the same time, Zhou Qingling didn't expect it. This nerd who is often bullied. I even know a little bit about the engines of global abilities. A flash of daylight descends. The whole city was fighting for treasures and supplies. All were paralyzed, but I don't care. All this is as long as you move your fists later. It's easy to get. Little by little, time passed. Soon at 11 o'clock, Zhou Qingling took a piece of ancestral treasure given by his family. Ready to come to me. His elder brother Zhou Tianba has Tiguanyin. Follow the brothers to get a powerful beast. It is said that if you are lucky, you can touch the tiger of the lower mountain. And his father was going to touch a collector's sword. The mother touched a treasure knife from her collection. On the way, Zhou Qingling muttered in his heart. What is the most leisurely touch of the Green Mountains here? He also specially asked me to go to his house this big night. There is still an hour. The time for all to seek the treasure is over. Li Qingshan can come up with a more ancestral treasure than me. A more high-quality treasure comes out. And share the touch with me. I don't know how long it took. Zhou Qingling came to my house with a piece of treasure jade. Li Qingshan, you call me over. Is there any touch optimal solution to tell me? There are many bloggers and big verses on the internet who say it. To touch some powerful creatures. Or some rare antiquities. And modern and powerful equipment. To gain powerful abilities. You don't think it matters much here? I shook my head. Squad leader, you look like I have a heavy treasure at home. Those heavy treasures are in the hands of the big guys. Where can we, ordinary people, get it? Zhou Qingling nodded. That's right. Now I want to find a decent treasure. It's all very difficult. That's what you're talking about touching. What is the optimal solution? Far away. Sight. I replied to Wenyan. Zhou Qingling didn't understand what I meant. Seeing this, I am not in a hurry to speak out. It's still a while until 12 o'clock. Wait until there are 5 minutes left. I informed the squad leader. The best contact is people. And it has to be both men and women. As soon as the man and woman touch each other afterward, you can get a constitution called yin and yang. You can practice some exercises. In the early stages, probably not as good as some of the adepts who touch other objects. But the later stage is a powerful existence. 10 streets to be able to shake off everyone. My voice was a little passionate. Every word is like a hammer. Smashed into Zhou Qingling's heart. He didn't expect me to be able to say such a thing. All the people in the world are saying that touch Bao becomes stronger. But Li Qingshan, he wanted to touch a woman. And this woman is not another woman. It's me. Ah, Qingling, get strong with me. There was an inexplicable allure in my voice. Zhou Qingling is a smart person. He had a lot on his mind. He was somewhat convinced of the truth of what I was saying. There are so many female classmates in the class. Why did you choose me? Because of the squad leader. You've protected me. The only person I can trust in this world is you. My eyes are steadfast. The two were talking. Time passes little by little. All of a sudden, it changed to 11:58. Squad leader, I know. You were going to touch a piece of ancient jade that has been handed down from the family. Use it to gain powerful abilities. But trust me, this ancient jade is not the optimal solution. I am your best touch solution. My words are very informative. Let Zhou Qinglin's heart be fierce. Touching the family GUU thing. Only his parents and brother knew. Others don't know, and now I am saying it. This means, 9 times out of 10, what I say is true. Your brother wants to touch a white tiger. Your dad is a sword. Your mother touches a treasure knife. I keep throwing out some important information. Continue to break through Zhou Qingling's psychological defense. Li Qingshan, he doesn't just know what the object he's going to touch. Even his brother Zhou Tianba, or even what their own parents want to touch. It's all clear. This moment, Zhou Qingling was sure that what the man in front of him said was all true. You can trust his optimal solution. Li Qingshan, that Li Qingshan. I didn't expect you to know so much. I can't even see through you. It's 59 points now. It seems that the only person I can touch is you. I believe you once. But, I don't think it's human beings who touch the optimal solution. Instead, Zhou Qingling glanced at the time. Speaking of which, in the end, her voice was a little faint. On the youthful and good-looking face, a red cloud rose up. She is smart according to the two sons of Yin and Yang. At the last minute, I realized the optimal solution for touch. What does it mean? I shuddered. A bold idea arose in my mind. In my previous life, I had only heard of the opposite sex touching each other. Able to obtain a yin and yang constitution, become the pet of heaven and earth, practice to your heart's content, but I didn't try it myself at all. Think about it this way. I couldn't help but feel a little shorter in my breath. Looking at Zhou Qingling's gaze, he became even more enthusiastic. Then, Zhou Qingling told me 2 key words. They were Adam and Eve. Adam is from Western mythology, the first male in the world, and Eve was the first woman in the world. At this moment, Zhou Qingling threw out these 2 keywords. The implication is already very obvious. I understand. A burst of golden light erupted in his eyes. The last minute is coming. Touch it. Zhou Qingling's cheeks were rosy. Although it was too sudden, there was some reluctance in her heart. But in order to get stronger, in order to gain a foothold in the troubled times in the future, reason told Zhou Qingling what to do. So at 11:59, Zhou Qingling and I touched each other. The next second is 000. A sound like a death knell. The ears of the creatures of the world rang in the ears. Global alienation has officially arrived. Everyone is starting to gain abilities. All the humans on the blue star at this moment, all get different abilities. And not just humans, even some animals, miraculously gained a powerful ability. Transform into a strange beast. Fish leap out of the water. Like a boulder. There are rat bones with body swelling. It became the size of a cow. There is a bulge of dog muscles. The body is straight, turns into an upright monster that walks like a human. There is liquefaction of the monkey body. It turned into a puddle of water. Coexist with the rivers. The whole blue star is all out of order. There began to be a variety of strong collision sounds. It resounded on the blue star. The bright moonlight looked so eerie. It's a mess outside the room at the moment. Every now and then there is a roar. It seems that someone is fighting. From time to time, there was a thumping sound. It seems that the behemoth is walking. The atmosphere inside the room was warm and eerie. Zhou Qingling and me, all quickly tidy up their clothes. Li Qingshan, you are such a bastard. Zhou Qingling scolded lightly. From small too, it was the first time he had been touched by a man. In normal times, even if it is holding hands with men. Zhou Qingling was very resistant, but it just happened. I was silent for a moment. I don't know what to say, but I sensed something intangible called responsibility. It was visibly pressed on my left and right shoulders. I suddenly felt like my body had become perfect. Between a breath and a breath, you can feel the warm flow of blood. The weekly movement of the meridians is very magical. Rest assured, squad leader. I'll take care of it. You have to be responsible. You won't call me class president anymore. Zhou Qingling was a little angry. Actually picked up the jade fist. It slammed my chest. What should I call you? I didn't get out of my words. Zhou Qingling had already said angrily. Li Qingshan, you bastard. All my life, none of the men have ever seen or touched the body. You're the first, and the only one. If you are responsible for me, you can't call me class leader anymore. Call me a clear spirit. Be polite to me again. I'll be angry. And also, I won't allow you to touch other women's bodies in the future. Without my permission, and they will not touch my body. I am not going to fall in love with you. I don't want to be boyfriend or girlfriend with you. So you have to keep your distance from me. Today's events must be kept secret. Can't tell anyone, otherwise, I'll kill you. I pricked up my ears and listened to him as he finished. Then nodded heavily. I'll do what you say. But at the moment, Zhou Qingling pointed out the window suspiciously. Talk about someone else's abilities. All seem to be capable of causing massive destruction. and I am the most entangled. It's a bit too low-key. Followed by, I told him that the yin and yang constitution could be cultivated after immortality. He froze. It's time to say you're a genius. Or should you call you crazy? However, after obtaining the yin and yang physique, how to take the first substantial footsteps, Zhou Qingling was puzzled. Then I told him a set of mantras for practicing qi in mind. Intercept the aura between heaven and earth. It runs in the middle of the big and small weeks. Nourishes the body. This knowledge. It was all after I bumped into the Shoujun world in my previous life. Only then did I understand that immediately after. After a period of practice, the two of us officially stepped into the first layer of qi training. At this moment, Zhou Qingling walked to the window to look at the movement outside. It can be seen from time to time. There are powerful abilities fighting. Bring a roaring sound. Destruction of many buildings. The world is in chaos. It's getting more and more dangerous. Then he pulled out his phone. See, there were multiple messages from the parents who were concerned about safety. Zhou Qingling replied one by one. He said he was safe now. It's just that something went wrong with the ability and needed to be fixed. When that's done, he'll go back. At the same time, it was learned. Brother Zhou Tianba has already touched the body of the white tiger. I become red, and it can change from human form at any time. Powerful martial arts after alienation. Possesses amazing destructive power. And after his father touched the sword, itself and the sword become one. It has achieved the effect of the unity of swordsmen and men. When fighting, you can even think about movement. Transform your body into a greatsword. Engage in battles with the enemy. And after his mother touched the sword, itself and the sword become one. It has achieved the effect of the unity of the knife and the man. Immediately followed by the following days. In order to make up for the shortcomings of the yin and yang constitution that are too weak in the early stage, the two of us learned a set of dragon and tiger boxing together. Little by little, time passed. There was a crackling sound in the room. The world outside the house is a mess. Every now and then, a fierce battle erupts. Cause small-scale damage. Meanwhile, in the auspicious community, the school bully who bullied me every day, I looked at my parents. He felt a pang of pain. Because of his father, Uncle Shangguan and his mother. When Chen Ting's global alienation was coming to an end, touched the statue of Shakyamuni Buddha together. They had been preparing for it all day. I contacted friends and relatives from all walks of life. But none of the good objects can be touched. At last, Chen Ting, who believes in Buddhism, came up with the idea of touching the Buddha statue. This Buddha statue in the home. It has been handed down from the grandparents. It has a history of almost 200 years. Mother Chen Ting thinks the Buddha will bring her immeasurable benefits. Grant him powerful abilities. Father Shangguan Jubo. Originally, I wanted to touch the sharp kitchen knife at home. But kitchen knives are too popular. He was unwilling. Finally, under the ears of her mother Chen Ting, Father Shangguan Jubo, choose to touch this Shakyamuni gold Buddha statue together. The divine court touches the Buddha statue to gain a powerful ability. Let the whole family get a lot of money. I want my son to become a dragon and phoenix among people. My husband has become the pillar of the world. The whole family became a human being. Shangguan Jubo touches the Buddha statue. I want to be above all the people. Dominate the world. There are groups of wives and concubines. Full of children and grandchildren. The two of them were touching each other. Will be their own ambitions. Desire poured out in the heart to the Buddha statue. Husband and wife work together to touch. But when global alienation comes, this statue of Shakyamuni Buddha has been strengthened and integrated with Shangguan Jubo and Chen Ting. Shangguan actually saw his parents with his own eyes. The figure became distorted. The stalls and human flesh are integrated and constantly wriggling, twisting, changing, until finally the two become one. Turned into a terrible monster. This monster is covered in all kinds of golden sarcomas. Like a human, he has 2 hands and 2 legs. However, the shape of the hands and feet is very strange. It looks thick and long and curved. There is no line texture. Some only have blonde meat like tumors. Besides this monster's head, it is a large irregular ellipsoid. The assassin's eyes are irregularly arranged. Why is this happening? Shangguan actually grabbed his head. It looked very painful. And the fusion of Shangguan Jubo and Chen Ting. It's also very painful. They didn't expect to touch the same object at the same time. It will lead to fusion and symbiosis. This terrible thing happens. Turned into a monster. Son, I am so hungry. I also want to eat. Uncle Shangguan said bitterly. He felt hungry. Chen Ting also said, I am so hungry too. I want to eat meat. Shangguan Jing heard this. The face was gloomy. Mom and Dad, the fridge is all over the place. I went out and bought some and came back. Originally, they had a lot of food stocked up in the refrigerator at home. I don't know why. Gain an ability. Shangguan Jubo and Chen Ting, who became monsters. The amount of food becomes very large. It's just a day's time. So they finished their food. And the body has become a bigger lump. The gold on the ball of flesh is also more intense. But Chen Ting and Shangguan Jubo were dissatisfied with this. They still want to eat, especially eat fresh meat. At this moment, Shangguan Jubo and Chen Ting are too, although it has become an ugly and hideous monster. But they still preserve human sanity. Uncle Shangguan said, dangerous outside. There were fighting sounds everywhere. You don't go out. Father endured it again. Chen Ting swallowed. The monster's small mouth rumbled. Son, mother, can endure it any longer. Wait for the outside to be more peaceful. You go out and find food again. Shangguan Jin's big fists creaked. Mom and Dad, I listen to you. Now let's hide at home. I am going to get you food. Inside the house, Zhou Qinglin and I are practicing dragon and tiger fist. That's when it happened. Both of our ears moved. Then they all looked at the door of the hall. The two of us who have obtained the yin and yang constitution. You can hear the 8 ways. Look at all directions. Let's go up and see how it goes. Be ready for battle. I gestured with my hands. Deliver a message to Zhou Qinglin. Soon came to the door. Qinglin opened the door. If you are an enemy or an enemy, a direct blow to the dragon tiger fist. Surrender him by surprise. Zhou Qinglin nodded. With the door quickly opened. Outside the house, Zhou Tianba was sticking to the door panel. I was taken aback by this sudden move. Zhou Tianba took 2 steps back. At the same time, combat ready. Zhou Chuanshang on the side is also preparing for the unity of man and sword. Incarnate as a sword that sharpens iron like clay. But the moment the door opened, both sides saw each other's faces clearly. They were all stunned for a moment. Zhou Tianba snorted. What do you kid want to do? Do you want to hit me? I am innocent. Put away the dragon tiger fist, which has already made a revelation. Brother Ba, why are you here? Zhou Qingling's face was full of surprise. He remembers texting his parents. My brother said he was fine. I didn't expect them to come to the door. Qingling, you're fine. It's messy outside. Daddy is worried about your safety. I came to you with your brother. Zhou Qingling's heart warmed, said I am fine. Don't worry about me. Then Zhou Tianba's eyes became sharp. Asked Qingling, the clothes on your body seem to be this kid. Where are your original clothes? Zhou Qinglin was a little hesitant. I don't know how to explain it. His clothes are because of the cultivation of 7 corners of the eyes. Stained by sticky magazines. But how do you tell it? Seeing this, I hurriedly invited them into the room. At this time, Zhou Chuanshang said, child, we're here to pick you up. Wen Yan knew that the two of them were wary of themselves. Zhou Qinglin said, big brother. Aoyama is a good person. My ability has something to do with Aoyama. Only he can make me strong. It's a bold idea. In Zhou Chuanshang and Zhou Tianba came to mind. Qinglin, he should NT be in love. Zhou Tianba is straightforward. Straight to the kid. Are you playing tricks? Deceived our family to clear 0. What are your abilities? 2 tricks with me. If it's too vegetable, I advise you to get rid of non-divisive thoughts as soon as possible. Otherwise, the fists and kicks will hurt you mercilessly. There are no hospitals to treat them now. While talking, Zhou Tianba also waved it. A pair of big punches in his own hands. It looks very difficult to provoke. I knew I wanted to be recognized by Zhou Tianba. There is only one way. That is the fist is hard enough. Beat him down. Now Zhou Tianba has just gained the ability. He is not very proficient in his control. And my physical fitness is weaker though. But the combat experience I left over from my previous life is the most precious. The secret of my victory over him is Qingling's brother. If you'd like to compete with me for an ability, I don't mind. You can give me a try. As soon as this remark came out, Zhou Chuanshang, Zhou Tianba, and Zhou Qingling were all stunned for a moment. Zhou Qingling secretly said in his heart that this Li Qingshan had a great opportunity. Possess a yin and yang physique. Know how to cultivate immortals. He also mastered the Dragon and Tiger Fist 7 Eyes Absolute Control. Crane Capture Dragon and other exercises. Maybe. He still has a lot of unknown means to be revealed. Li Qingshan and my brother competed. It should be fine. Zhou Chuanshang pondered. His daughter and Li Qingshan are quite close. You can take advantage of this opportunity to learn. Look at how many pounds and tails I have. So he acquiesced in the fight. Zhou Tianba smiled at Qingshan. I don't take advantage of you either. I am not using an ability. If you can defeat me, I am even if you're strong. Allows you to make friends with the green spirit. Otherwise, you're just at home. Don't go anywhere. I was stunned for a moment. I didn't expect Tianba to be a good person this week. I actually want to release water. But this is also Zhou Tianba's truth to himself. A manifestation of force that is very confident. Zhou Tianba after gaining the ability, not only does it have the ability to transform into a giant beast, the white tiger, and his own body is strengthened. Even if you don't use an ability, Zhou Tianba was confident that he would knock down a dozen adults with his bare hands. In addition to this, Zhou Tianba was also worried that he would become the queen of the giant beast white tiger. It's too big. This small living room can't fit your body. It's not easy to spread your hands and feet. I got a bargain. It's not good. Say thank you. Please give me advice. Zhou Qinglin and Zhou Chuanshang stepped aside. Zhou Tianba carried his hands behind his back. The expression is indifferent, as if they didn't take me seriously. And I walk with my left foot. Draw a circle with your right foot. Make fists with both hands. Shift back and forth in front of your chest. Kung Fu is the word. In the minds of Zhou Chuanshang and Zhou Tianba, father and son. Present at the same time. My actions at the moment. It's really like the kind of Kung Fu in the TV series. The same with majesty. Extremely natural. I really don't believe it. This is a milky kid. Actions that can be done. Zhou Tianba's heart suddenly became interested. Zhou Qinglin saw my revelation. I knew that this was going to be a dragon and tiger fist. This move is very lethal. I am afraid my brother will suffer. Zhou Tianba now looks like the enemy is not moving. I am not moving. A small hurricane formed around me. This can stun Zhou Tianba, Zhou Chuanshang and others. Be careful, I let out a low snort. The next second, I flew out like a tiger. Followed by, a roar of a tiger and a dragon's groan rang out. The roar of the tiger is like the collapse of a mountain. The dragon's roar was like thunder. Zhou Tianba's body shook wildly. It continued to shake his senses. Zhou Chuanshang's expression on the side was even more out of control. A look of shock. The shocked open mouth. It's as if you can stuff 2.5 basketballs. Shocked at the same time. He was worried about the life of his son Zhou Tianba. And Zhou Tianba looked at the fist of the dragon and tiger that smashed over. I was shocked. It's almost like survival instinct. Zhou Tianba directly turned on his ability. I heard the sound of a mantle breaking. Zhou Tianba's body flashed with a flash of white light, began to swell and twist like crazy. The brightly colored white hair on it is even more violent. In an instant, Zhou Tianba transformed into a giant beast, the white tiger. Squeezed the surrounding lamps, sofas, etc. into the corners. The behemoth white tiger opened its large mouth full of fangs. The tiger roared. The whole building slammed. Countless houses are falling with sand and dust at a rapid pace. The good guy doesn't even talk about martial arts. Unleashes an ability, but it just so happens that I don't use my dragon tiger fist. Thank you for punching to the end. Originally, I kept a hand to unload the strength of the dragon tiger fist. Let this fight come to an end. But now it seems, I can't punch it out by myself.